Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise is brought to you in partnership with Drive Media and Consulting and their premier sponsors. Subscribe on your favorite streaming platforms and share. If you just found us, welcome. And if you're a regular, welcome back. Denise DiGrigoli has spent her life in the creative industries as an entrepreneur, helping people transform their visions into thriving businesses, working with individuals and teams to find their purpose and live their life vibrantly. On her pod, Denise delivers business intel and life hacks with wit and wisdom in short shots like a strong espresso with a solid sense of humor. Enjoy this episode of Mav's Coffee Clarity, and here's Mav.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise. Not in the studio today, in the backyard. We're trying something new, and we're celebrating, the clock is striking midlife. And for so many of us, it can make us feel undone, blue, unmotivated. Or for others, it can make us feel zesty, reinvigorated, ignited. And I think, that's kind of a spectrum. So I wanted to share a few things about my 6th decade around the sun. And I thought I could make it real technical. I could make it real motivational. I can just make it from the heart. When I was approaching this decade, I looked back and I said, okay, where do I want to go? Well, in my world, I want to go to 104. And I want to keep working. I want to be healthy, and I want to be laughing, and I want to have fun, and I want to contribute positively to society. That's what I want to do. If we're not moving forward, in my world, we're moving backward or we're stuck in neutral. So what does that take? Well, it kind of takes a refresh almost every day. And sometimes when I'm training my classes, I say to my clients, you brush your teeth every day, right? I mean, duh, this is important. Can you imagine if you didn't? So why wouldn't you get up every day and make other important things part of your ritual? Like for me, I do a little journaling, I do a little praying, I do a little visualizing, I do a little list making, I organize my time. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Every single day? No. But the point is to revisit it every day. So I was thinking, what could I share? Stay curious and be a mentor to someone else. I had a couple great mentors in my life, a couple people that really believed in me, and that was sort of my rocket fuel. And yeah, you got to show up for yourself, and you've got to role model the behavior you seek. It kind of is a treat your neighbor as you'd like to be treated. And that sort of boomerang energy just keeps coming back around. Is it perfect? No. And I'm a firm believer that all seasons are important, right? You don't have the joys and the harvest without the sort of hibernation and the quiet times of fall and winter. So I think every emotion is just as important as every season. You can't brush away pain and sadness, but it's how you react to it in my world that makes a difference. And, I'd like to say that everything is unicorn and butterflies over here all the time, but it isn't. But I find joy in being creative. When you're creative and you stay curious, you open the doors to problem solving. So I grew up in the Berkshires. I was actually very quiet and very shy. Really, I was, believe it or not, till I was about 10. But, we grew up in a very rural area. Our town had 1,800 people. We gardened. We actually ate out of a garden. It was not in vogue to go to the grocery store like, ooh, they're eating store-bought lettuce. Yucky. And so we ate out of a garden. Yes, we bought our beef from the store, our proteins from the store, but we were gardeners and we planted flowers, so we stayed active. And my grandmother, one was full of humor and sauteing her Italian pork chops and using her pressure cooker and, laughing, making humor out of some situations that weren't always humorous, finding the light. And my other grandmother was very business oriented and very, hard work ethic and wanted to get things done. And she was the upcycler, the luck cycler. She taught us how to, crochet and sew, and we sewed by eye. We didn't have a pattern. We sewed our curtains by eye. And if your sock had a hole in it, you sewed it. And you actually waited until the holidays to get a new coat if you needed one. It wasn't, the whole story. It wasn't immediate gratification, blah, 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 blah. And around 10, when my grandfather passed, I went to help my grandmother, and her family business, which was automotive services. Yes, Mav started off in the car business. And I was pumping gas as a 9-year-old and having a ball. I was hanging out with my grandmother. I was doing her filing. I was cleaning the toilets, and I saw how business worked. And I saw how she prevailed as a 49-year-old widow with an 8th grade education. Well, that's a whole lot of self-learning, my friends, and a whole lot of faith. My other grandmother I spent weekends with, we would be laughing and cooking and walking downtown. She didn't drive. She walked to get her groceries, and she pulled the silver cart. But you know what she had, like my other grandma? Love of her family. We say this old joke about her, you know, anything you would do, she'd say, oh, she didn't mean it. She kind of gave us a pass. And she learned both incredible values. You know, we learn so much from our grandmothers. Aren't they our role models? Well, at least for me. Around 10 to 20, you know, I was working, I was waitressing, I was making my own money. I used to go to the thrifts and pull apart clothes and remake new clothes into crazy clothes, and waitress to put myself through college. And went to FIT in the city and had a wonderful time. Crazy time. You know, we were limelighting, Studio 54ing, I don't even know, Webster Halling, and all of our crazy get-ups. And, you know, we're so prideful in the line of Studio 54. Like, who was going to be the most dressed and the funkiest to get picked out of the line to come into Studio 54 ahead of everyone. And some of my FIT friends, you know I'm talking to you, right? But the cool thing about FIT is they also installed a work ethic. Like, you went to class dressed up as if you were going to work. There's no bones about it. Your grade was reflective not only on your intelligence, but how you presented and how you looked. And they helped us get careers. You know, their career placement was stellar. Fun story about FIT. My grandmother had a gas customer who lived in her second home in the Berkshires. Her name was Eleanor Freed. And she came in for gas one day, and she asked me, honey, where are you going to go to college? And I was like, my dad doesn't really think girls need to go to college, but I really want to go to FIT. And she had started the placement department, and she had given me her book to read. And she's like, if you're serious about this, when I come back, I want to talk to you next week. I ran into my grandmother's office. Graham, I'm going to read Eleanor's book, and I'm going to go to FIT. You know, it's a little bit about visualization, right? Chance favors the prepared mind. And, you know, again, with some solid backing and an important encouragement, anything is possible. If not today, maybe not tomorrow, but certainly in your future. That's just what Mav believes. So 20 to 30, you know, is kind of a wild girl. A failing relationship with somebody who really didn't live up to my moral code, but you know, you live and learn, whatever, no judgment on him. He was doing him, and he was doing a lot of things, and I was still being me, because I grew up in a way that, you know, my grandmother would always say, 2 things they can't take away from you, my friend. They cannot take away your self-respect, and they cannot take away your education. Both door openers. So I found a career in the exhibit world, and I was designing trade show exhibits. And at that time we were a small firm, so we designed and sold and traveled with the exhibit around the country. And so I got to see this little country girl who was sort of shy, not anymore shy, all parts of our country and working. So I'd always kind of worked and played at the same time. I've been lucky enough for the most part to be around people I love working with and doing the things I love the most. The things I hate are bookkeeping and like real, you know, techie stuff, but I'm okay. You know, I get it done. Again, I think part of being 6 decades is keeping yourself curious and understanding that you won't have a complete career or relationship or some things you don't like. You got to keep working on them. So I took a bookkeeping class and I became the tech officer at my husband's firm. Do I like it? Not really. But you know what? We get it done. And together we have fun. We keep an open mind and an open heart. So 20 to 30, yeah, I was building my career. I was changing relationships. I was having sorrowful moments. You know, I was in the season of fall and hibernation and death of winter. And then around 35, I met my husband. And a very artistic person, very creative, went to School of Visual Arts. Who would have known we were in the city at the same time and never were at the same bar? I ask you, what is happening? So we were both very determined, and we had both been scorned by prior relationships. We're like, don't get attached to me, all right? I'm not into it. I'm building my own business. And then we were married 2 years later. Again, chance favors the prepared mind. Stay open to the possibilities and be curious, my friends. Be curious. And know that it's not always going to be perfect. And you will have, moments where you just cry for a few days. As my friend James Mapes calls it, it's an eraser day. I give myself very few days off, but I do. And when I need time, I take the time. And always good friends, good relationships. Sometimes people come into your life for a day, a reason, a season, a lifetime, but good friends and friends that, are real friends and that you feel comfortable sharing. Maybe not all things, but the things that you need help with, but it's always got to be a two-way street. It can never be just about you. When it's just about you, it's not real. So I always, my dad would always say, give more than you receive. I try to do that. And I try to do that with an authentic heart for every breath I take. Because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that if you help someone else with what's going on in their life, their agenda, their goals, and ultimately they feel the same way about you and they're helping you with your life, your agenda, your goals, then together you're all moving forward at the same pace. And isn't that what it's all about? Together we all move forward. So 30 to 40, let's see, I got married later and I had my only child later, and that was a gift. I really did, again, some things you plan for and some things you don't, and some things you just say thank you. And so there's some things you say, oh, thank you, I didn't get that. All right, thank you, I did not get that. So my husband and I started a business in fine art services. We brought our creative brains together, me coming out of 3D exhibit design, branded visual environments, experiential type events, and him in meticulous art restoration. And we built a business. And we work together now 25 years, okay, moving into the 6th decade. And most people say, oh my God, I can't stand my spouse. I could never do that. And I'm always curious, you can't stand your spouse, then why are you still married? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't judge it. But, my spouse is one of my best friends. And I love the fact that he gives me a long leash and lets me be creative and lets me learn new things, never blows out my flame. Do the same for him. And yeah, we grow at different levels at different times. And then there's times we're spot on track growing together, and we've grown, pretty successfully. I won't say everybody in life has their trials and tribulations. And I'm thankful to kind of move into my 6th decade with somebody that's dedicated to his health, dedicated to his family, dedicated to his craft, dedicated to his longevity, uber integrity, moral compass, super high, would give you the shirt off his back, actually takes ladybugs when they're in the house and brings them outside, okay? Ladybugs outside. Wonderful role model. So my daughter will say, oh my God, you guys have this great, yes, but it takes work. It's not like, oof, poof, it came in a cereal box as a prize, or I add water and it just grew. It takes work, and it takes trials and tribulations and being kind to yourself. And I'm not always kind to myself. I have that inner monkey mind chatter, all those automatic negative thoughts in my brain, blah, 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 blah. And I have to say every day, okay, I brush my teeth. I got to do the mental cleanse in the brain. I've got to set the tone of what I want to happen that day. I've got to be looking at things through a lens, hopefully with humor and positivity. And even when I'm crying, I've got to say, thank you, thank you. My grandmothers would say the 2 greatest words are thank you. And that always helps me move forward. And it helped me try new things. And again, I would say for people seeking longevity and less arthritic joints and more great times than less great times, you're the sum of your 5 best friends. What you consume, mind, body, spirit, is what you consume, and therefore what you exude. And be kind when someone isn't perfect, just like you want them to be kind to you when you're not perfect. Be thankful, and just let it go. It takes a long time to learn to let it go. And there's days you don't want to let it go. And there's days you want to say, yeah, F you. Thank you. So peace out, my friends. It's Mav's next journey around the sun. Not going anywhere to about 104. Here to share creative ideas, spill the beans, business intel, and life hacks to move you forward. Got a great family, great set of friends, great extended family, love in my heart for humanity, and belief that the world is a better place more so than it's not. Thank you for listening and following, and thank you for your kind words. I love you. Peace out. Mav's going to the beach today.
Hey, it's Denise over at Mav's Coffee Clarity. Did you know we offer an insider bi-weekly brew delivered right to your inbox? We don't spam, but listen, it's got great insider tips, life hacks, and business intel you can use, fresh ideas, creative ideas to move forward. Visit DeniseDiGrigoli.com and sign up today. I promise we don't sell your data, we don't share your data, we just talk to you via your email. Peace out, my friends. Mav's got to get back to work. I hope you're listening to the Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite pods.